Hey everybody out there in Twitch land, this is Doc or GamerSeuss again, GamerSeuss channel with yet another Wild Terra 2 video, tips for new players. And this time around we're going to talk about trees and fruit in the game. Of course, fruit's an important part of the game for cooking and taming and things. And yet, although you can find some fruit in the wild, this one's mainly about trees. So we're going to come into the game right now. This is going to be one of the quick videos. I've been told to do some shorter stuff. I'm going to try to keep this under 10 minutes. The last one went to 16, which isn't too bad. First off, the first fruit tree that you're going to be able to build is an or grow, I should say, not build, is an apple tree. And you can get an apple tree sprout either by looting it off of a mob, finding it in a godsend, or come to the farmer here in Hartford and go to buy. There's certain trees that are available and certain other seeds that are available here. And if you hover over the individual thing, it'll tell you what level of agriculture it requires to have like 100% chance. The grape sprout, which is a vine, not exactly a tree, but it's treated like a tree in this game, takes an agriculture of 40. I have an agriculture of, I think it's 33 right now. Let's go ahead and go down here. Agriculture is 33. So I'm pretty close. I could probably sprout a grape tree successfully, because if you look at the grape tree, it is a 69% chance. So I've got a 2 and 3 chance of sprouting a grape tree in my DOM. The first one that you're going to do for trees is going to be apples. And you'll find apple trees in the wild, and every time you loot an apple tree, you'll get up to like 5 or 6 apples, and then you'll have to wait until they ripen before you can hit that particular tree again. But in your DOM, you can grow an apple tree. And once you grow a tree in your DOM, you actually have, after it matures to where you can harvest it, you can then harvest it once every 24 hours. So you'll see a lot of DOMs that have like little orchards of trees, because they don't have to keep replanting them like they do with the other agricultural items like wheat and barley and root vegetables and carrots and things, which some of them you can get the seeds for here, and some you can't. And of course, remember that books will give you bonus experience while you're working on like agriculture. So use your books, and you can usually find them either at the vendor that provides for that particular craft, or if you go to the librarian in town. The librarian has a bunch of different books that you can buy at different prices. But we're going to buy an apple tree because it only costs 1 silver, and it'll give us a repeating supply of apples. Now, another caution when it comes to the grape tree that I've not seen it do with any of the other trees, you're given, like, once they ripen, the tree ripens, you're given like 24 hours to harvest it, is what it says, once it's ripened. All the other trees don't matter. You can take longer than the 24 hours and you can still harvest your tree. Grape trees, if you don't harvest them within the 24-hour window, they die and you have to replant them all over again. So you're not getting that repeated use. But as long as you harvest them every day, your grape tree should be fine. So we're going to buy 1 apple tree sprout, and we're going to head back to the DOM. So it's going to take us a second to get back there. I'm going to hop on my horse, though. It'll be a little bit faster. Let's see. Find my cursor. Horses and riding pets are the superior way to travel in this game, because you're going to go a lot faster. My horse gives me like plus 70% move when I'm on it. The dragon that you can get from the dragon pack will give you 100% move, so use that. And as you can see, the little indicator here is telling me which way is my home, but I know which way it is. So I'm going to come over here. There's my little path in front of my house. There's my neighbor, my guild member, Gorth, and then there's my Dom. And as you can see, in my Dom, I've got some trees already. I've got 2 apple trees right here, and then I've got a whole row of trees on the side of my Dom here. And as you can see, some of them are ready to harvest. You see use. I can go to them and use, and I will pick a batch of pears off the pear tree, and I can go down the row, and some of them will not be ready to use because I would have done them at the wrong time before. But most of them are going to be in sequence, so I can use them and just go down the line. Just keep hitting E for use. And I got all my, and if you look now, I've got pears, I've got apples, and I've got cherries because of my pears, apples, and cherry trees. Now I'm going to make a new planting for my Dom. So let's go over to, I got to find a square that's open to do it. I do have a square here that I saved. I need to grab a shovel. Whenever you're doing planting, you need a shovel and a bucket because you're going to, whenever you're planting, you got to do that. And for trees, you want to do the 2x2 square because the 6x2s, I don't even think you can do trees on the 6x2s, but even if you did, they would not be the way to go. Because once a tree has matured, you can actually put them in tighter than 1 per 2x2. As you can see, my other ones were much closer together. So I'm going to plant and go here where my highlighted the 2x2 square is and hit E to have it build a planter box. So there's my planting area. Then what you do is you take your sprouts, click on it and go to equip. It puts it in your secondary slot. And then if you look, if you highlight the planting area, it says plant. So I'm going to hit E, and then if you've got a chance to plant it, then it will plant it. If not, it still may look like it plants it, but then you'll get a failed planting at some point in its life cycle. Now, right after you plant it, it says it wants to be watered. Now, this first watering sequence on any agriculture can actually be replaced. Instead of water, you can do fertilizer. But we found that fertilizer really doesn't give much of a benefit on trees. So I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to go over here, and I can just use my pail to get some water. I get 1 cycle of water because it'll get various amounts. And then I'm going to put that in my inventory where the tree sprout was. So I'm equipping that by double-clicking. Going to go back over to my tree, and then I'm going to go water it. And you'll see that your little square changes color. And in an hour, I need to water it again. It says in 59, but you'll have like a 22, 24-hour window to water it. And then once you water it, it'll have another mature cycle. Depending on the different plants, some of them have like a 3rd mature cycle where you have to water a 3rd time. Hay is one of those. I mean, not hay. Wheat is one of those where you have to actually water it an extra time. But once it's fully grown and sprouted, you'll be able to do like I did with those other trees and harvest them for their fruit. And then, like I showed you those trees over there, but I'll show you over here because there's only like 2 of them. These are much closer than 1 per square. If you go to your action menu and go to your movement button, you can see I can move the tree over and they take only a half space. So you could technically get 4 trees per square by the way they overlap, because you can go side by side in both directions. So you can get a huge harvest of orchard of trees. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel this because I'm not moving the apple tree. What I'll probably do is when that tree finishes, I will move it over here, and it'll be fine. And the leaves of the trees will go up over my second level, but that's okay too. I will harvest apples, pears, and cherries every day, and then I just go over to my storage and I store my various fruits. I put all my fruits except my apples and my cherries in that tab. I have my cherries separate because I have so many of them, and I use them specifically to make cherry beer. And my apples are kept separate over here because I use them to tame goats, because goats eat those for their taming. So I like to keep my apples over here for that. Just like I keep my hare meat over here to tame foxes and worms to tame birds. And later on, when I start taming higher level animals, I will have other fodders and such. Like I have silver foxes, and those take a type of fodder that's made with hare meat and then a fish called a roach, not like the cockroach, but a roach. It's a fish. You mix hare meat and roach together, and you get what's called silver fox fodder, and that's what it takes to get rid of the fear in the silver fox in order to tame it. Once their fear gets down to zero, you can use it as a pet and start leveling it. So that's one of the important things with fruit. Fruit is also used for recipes. Probably one of the earliest recipes you're going to try to get the ability to make will be fruit salad, because as you can see, fruit salad right here has it does 30 fruit satiety and 30 mixed satiety, so it makes it to where you have to carry less food to have all your satiety. Oops, I didn't get rid of all my pears. I have the fruit salad, onion rings, which is 2 other satieties, and then meat for meat satiety, so I can cover all 5 with just 3 slots. When you really get down to it, if I look at my food, there is some foods that have 3, and there's even some that have 4 or 5, but you can't make the 5s. The only thing, I think the only way you can get the 5 is in the mining camp. You can buy it, but it's a little costly to do that when you want to make your own food or get guild members to do your food prep for you. Most stats in the game, most of these skills, you do want to get to a minimum skill level of 20 to be efficiently supporting your own endeavors without always having to turn to your friends and guildmates to do things, but it's not always required. If you, for instance, you look at some of them, I have no skill in fishery, and I'm not doing fishery until the new update comes out, which we've been told to anticipate possibly as early as this weekend. But I don't have any fishery, but I could use fishery if I wanted to get my own roaches for making the fodder for my silver foxes, or getting fish like carp to make fish fillets with spice, which is a great buff food. A lot of foods have buffs to them, as well as covering some of your satiety. So that's something. But anyway, that's really what I had to say about trees and farming this time around. It's just a real quick tip video on trees and farming with fruit, because fruit is a renewable resource, unlike the regular farms. You see I've got cabbages growing, I've got peas growing in my dom, because I need them for different things. Cabbages I give to my sister for feeding her livestock, because she does animal husbandry. Peas I can mix with other vegetables to make fodder for calves, which is another livestock. I also sell excess peas on the auction house sometimes to just make a little bit of silver. But agriculture is a good one for that. Anytime you have some spare land that you're not using on your dom, on the ground floor, so it's got to be like, dirt areas, you can put 2x2s and 6x2s, and you can plant to build up your agriculture. You're going to start with root crop vegetables and cereal, which they're going to just be grains of the cereals you mostly find in the wild. And you will plant those as your level in agriculture goes up. They will, the base plants of root crops and cereal, the grain, have a chance of mutating while they're growing into the next level or two levels up. So you can get carrots from root crops, or you can get beets from root crops, and you can get barley from cereal, grain, or you can get wheat from grain if they upgrade. There's some fertilizers that will help with that. There's some fertilizers that will dampen that ability, and fertilizers that will increase your chance of getting more seeds and stuff from it. But we'll cover that in other agriculture videos. As always, my videos are dedicated to Life, part of the Children's Miracle Network. Helps kids with chronic conditions, often hospital bound. Helps with research, equipment. All the money goes to the kids, not to the administrative costs. It's covered in another fund. It also helps them get things like puzzles and games and consoles, so they can have a little bit of the experience of being a kid, tablets and things like that. Thank you so much for watching. Half of everything I make does go to Extra Life. Right off the top, anytime I do get any monetization from subscription. So remember, if you're an Amazon Prime member, join my Twitch and subscribe. You get a free Twitch subscription once a month, and the $2.50 I get from your monthly subscription, $1.25 of that will go to Extra Life, and the other $1.25 goes to pay for my software registration or replacing a microphone or things like that. That as I need, more comes out of my pocket than actually goes into my equipment. But I give off the top directly to Extra Life. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video. As always, may all your roles be critical, or if they're fumbles, may they be epic in the retelling. And in the immortal words of Stanley, Excelsior. Have a good day.